castle where the digital dreams come alive. CESCG takes place from May 1 to 5, from visualization to the virtual space. Scientific sessions take their place.
Hello, so my name is Martin, and I will tell you a little bit from my PhD thesis and the main topics that I'm focused on. So the topic for this talk is actually the first research thesis, Domain Expert Center Interface Design for AI-infused system development. Quite complicated and long. So what is the motivation? We have a lot of users and a lot of domain experts that want to use AI and that use computers on a daily basis. They have various levels of expertise and various levels of computer knowledge, and so we need to somehow focus on their needs and try to sell the AI and our perfect systems to them more successfully. The goals of my work are to design the AI system according to user needs, as I have taught already, to analyze the knowledge and skills of domain users, and explore domain characteristics and problems. We focus in our research group on a medical domain, but I'm pretty sure that lots of this know-how from these users can be also somehow transformed into frameworks and guidelines to develop systems for highly specific domains. So that's why I try to talk about it in a more general manner. So we'll see. Also, second goal is placing the domain user in the loop of AI. So we usually do not have perfect models, or the models do not perform in such a fashion that is enough for domains such as medicine, for example, where it is life or death situations mostly. So we need to refine the interface. We need to collect the feedback and to tightly couple the user with the interface and gradually iteratively improve it. So this is goal 2, and goal 3 is to research the explainable and interpretable AI methods and for trust calibration and improved AI perception, because usually AI is seen as a black box, which is a major issue because we do not know what happens there behind, and it is a major drawback also for the domain experts. So the research in this field is driven both by companies, private companies, and also by research groups at universities. But as the private companies need to profit, they are highly investing into this. For example, Microsoft, Hacks, and Google Pair are two work groups with a lot of work in this field. And here on the right we can see actually Microsoft Hacks toolkit for human AI system development. And also we want to refine the old school user-centered design for domain use and apply it also with AI usage. In our work we focus on the end users, specifically the domain experts, and we actively involve them for a clear understanding of user and task requirements. Therefore, adopting a domain expert-centered design, which I will talk about a little bit more later. So, the research areas, as I have already told, the first one is the domain characteristics and domain expert-centered interface design for AI, for which we performed a small case study for annotation tool. Yes, another annotation tool. The second research area is not visible there. No. The role of domain expert in the loop of artificial intelligence. And the third research area is domain-oriented and user-centered explainable artificial intelligence, or as I call it, DEUCA. So, annotation tool for PCD diagnostics. We developed a tool for domain expert in field of histopathology, and her focus is on primary ciliary dyskinesia. What is it? It is a rare genetic disorder that affects lungs, and the cilia in lungs are somehow not in normal state, and they have a lot of tiny changes in their structure, as we can see here on the right. So it is a currently research topic. Is it quite rare, this disease? So there is not much data. We are on in a new field that is not so researched. So it's really exciting, or it was, and hopefully it will be. So the challenges in this field are the diagnostics is highly manual. So the doctor takes an image and manually annotates it and evaluates whether the patient has the condition or not, what will be his future medications and so on. This is a high-stake domain, as the differences are quite hard to percept. So we need really experts. There are only a handful of experts there that have this expertise and can differ between these functional cilia and damaged cilia. Also, we have various approaches to image annotation and to classification. We somehow want to put it in one standard, which will be the Southampton notation. But at first, a little about our design methodology. You've already heard yesterday from Lucia and Erika about the modified double diamond framework, which is getting quite popular right now. And we also play with the modus operandi with UX expert as a mediator that facilitates as a joining point between tech experts and domain experts. So everything that is developed by tech experts or AI experts has to be is under control of UX expert that prototypes, communicates with the design with the domain expert, and somehow he translates all this language from tech to domain language, which is not a trivial task. So we had to modify the double diamond framework. In discover phase, we calibrated the communication form. In define phase, we process knowledge and incorporate it into design. Rapid prototyping was in the develop phase, and we did it iteratively. So multiple sessions, and in 2 or 3 weeks, we came up with a new prototype, test it, discuss with the domain expert, and so on in a cycle. So this was our first sketch of the annotation tool. It's pretty low fidelity. Here the largest part is for the VSE image, and the left part is for annotations, statistics, and all the necessary information that the domain experts needs to see and work with. And this is more interesting. Here we can see an example use of our prototype, because the design is still in development. Here we can see the cilia, and on the left we can see the classifications, which are derived from the Southampton notation, and with after discussion with our domain expert, we came to a conclusion that this standard can be a default standard in the European Union. So she works, our domain expert, Andrea, works at Motol Hospital in Prague, and also she has contacts with researchers at Southampton University in United Kingdom, and they have this idea that this classification makes most sense. So from our sessions with our domain expert, we have a lot of feedback and a lot of medical information, because she's really passionate about medicine and about her work. But I wrote here the 3 main case study outcomes from our first session. The domain expert uses the system only as annotation tool for manual annotation. We asked her, of course, why? Because doesn't she know that there is an AI model, or there can be an AI model that can help her? Or doesn't she trust it? Or doesn't she understand how it works? So she rather does it manually. Both of 3 are true. Yes, so the automatic analysis wasn't also reliable, because the model was not performing in a sufficient way. So therefore came the need for human in the loop and gradual improvement. Cilia are the utmost important structures, but relative location is also important, which was in the previous tool that she was using, was this fact not incorporated, and it was really important for her also to think about the whole context, not only the points and the small cilia, but also the whole context. For example, these these edges of the tissue are not sufficient for analysis because they are somehow damaged or it's ectodermis and so on. Yeah. So I already talked about the Southampton classification guidelines. So here's our implementation for human in the loop. We have a correction mode. After automatic annotation, the domain expert can go through all the annotations, and by right click she can change the class and the subclasses, and she can also do that in the left panel. And she can also do that. We also discovered that she is not a professional PC user, but she likes to use the keyboard, which was really interesting because we were before only thinking about clicking interactions, and we also implemented in the prototype of these control 1, control 2, control 3 for very rapid classification for this. She just clicks control 1, clicks control 2, and so on. So it was pretty interesting when we saw it in action in our second session. Then we got some more feedback. She requires statistics visualization in the form of graphs. She requires also data import export for research purposes, and the use of colors is used by it was defined by the domain expert, and it is not standardized. But she automatically somehow came to this system that it is more accurate for her and better to visualize. So we implemented also the colors according to her likings, and here you can see a detail how we assigned the colors to the classes. Also on the left we see statistics. We have not yet implemented the graphs because we need more specification on that. We will have more settings with our domain expert. So our evaluation was thinking aloud usability sessions, testing sessions with our domain expert. We examined the domain-related knowledge correctness. We tested interaction with AI-generated results, which we didn't use an actual model because we needed to play with the model performance in order to test various scenarios. For that we used a method, Wizard of Errors. Maybe you've heard about Wizard of Oz, UX method, which is somehow, one can say, faking the AI output. And we defined 4 possible errors that can happen when we use AI annotation. Segmentation error, when we recognize another circle-like structures as cilia, but it doesn't make no sense. Similarity error, incorrect predictions of defective cilia or predictions of cilia that have to be ignored because it is too close to the cell. Wild errors, just randomly annotated background noises, and non-recognition errors, not recognizing viable cilia. So this still waits for testing with our domain experts. Very excited about it, and maybe you will be able to read about it in some more publications. Okay, once more, here is our proposed tool, and we just jump to conclusions and future work. I already started talking about future work. We have proposed a prototype of an UI design for UI design for efficient PCD diagnostics. We utilized a domain expert-oriented approach. We highly engaged our domain expert, so we incorporated the double diamond framework with some modifications which were necessary. And in the future, we plan to design iterative improvement and test our prototype with lay users, because we can use different feedback from non-domain experts, and continue with our sessions with our domain expert. And as we plan to implement this tool for a long-term operation, we need to design a long-term operation paradigm for also for human in the loop, and yes, there's our plans for future. So thank you very much, and maybe you have some questions.
I have 2 questions. First one is that I didn't actually see this explainability feedback. if this is just the 4 types of errors, or if you plan for something more?
Yes, thank you. Maybe I didn't explain it clear enough. I have 3 research theses, and this whole application is in the first one. So we plan to expand it also with the second is the human in the loop, which is planned also, and explainability is not yet implemented also. So yes,
That's just coming.
under construction.
Okay. Then the second question, you mentioned that one of the experts tuned the color scheme. So
Yes.
basically, I think it was a she. So she
Mhm.
tuned it to her empiric way of working.
Mhm.
Did you verify this scene for color blindness?
Not yet, but we already received this question, and we have to do it, of course, before we go public with it. But it's still a prototype, so we, because of this reason, we also want to test it with lay users, and we also will refine the color scheme possibly. But thank you. Yes, it's an important.
Do you only work with interviews so far? Or do you also, when you will be doing more with users, doing alternatives and evaluating them, not just on a qualitative way, but also in a quantitative way, using whatever comparisons, A/B testing?
Yes,
or
yes,
anything
yes.
more
Of
complex?
course, we use questionnaires, but that's qualitative, pretty much, and also metrics like time to complete task and possibly some more metrics that make sense. Yes, we will have these usability, thinking along usability sessions, even more of them, and yes, maybe some chart visualizations, how this tool is better as the old one, and compare it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Martin, for the questions. Maybe do we have some more? Okay, maybe then I have one question. You were mentioning the sessions with doctors, with the experts. How long do these sessions take, or what actually? Could you describe these sessions to us, like structurally, or so we have the idea what it actually is to talk to the expert, if they understand you, if it's difficult to explain the AI or the things to her. So, what is the communication?
Yes, actually, she's pretty smart, and she understands very fast all these technical quirks. So so we do not need to explain it for a long time. But these sessions mustn't be too long. We usually have 1 hour call in the evening for every 2-3 weeks. And we always come up with a prototype with some updated version, and we just tell her to play with the prototype or just to have a look at it, and we discuss also the prototype. So she clicks it and plays with it freely, or we tell her a user scenario she needs to perform, and that was at start. We just let her to play and to talk and talk and talk. From that, we distilled some user scenarios that we implemented into the prototype, and we iteratively evaluate it in every sitting. And then at the end, we collect more feedback. So yes, it's a lot of text information, and we always need a prototype because that is very good to talk about.
So actually, you have to have the prototype designed, and so she
Yes.
can play with it. And maybe what came into as an idea: are you factorizing these cases based on her ideas, what she's talking about, or do you then talk to her like, we think this is maybe important for you. This is maybe what you want to do with this application. Do you can you correct us, or can you give us an idea? Like, are we on the right path?
Exactly. Yes. First sitting is usually without prototype, just collecting domain know-how, and then we create a prototype, and we come up with some ideas, and we tell her to try it and try it out, and we see how it performs, whether she likes it or not, and from that we start and we refine it. So what is not natural for her, we think of an alternative of interaction, for example, and just like with this keyboard that she came up with that, for example, we have we didn't think about it because looks a little old school, but that made sense. So yes, I'm sorry, I just slipped away from the question.
Well, actually, it answers the question partly, but yeah, thank you very much. Do we have some other questions from the audience? Okay, still none. Okay, I have another question.
Come on.
Yeah, there was a question about the colors, but actually I was curious about how she came up with these colors. This is like, I like these colors because, or these colors represent something. It's like the red one is the worst case scenario, the green is like this is normal. Is there something behind it, or do you question it? Or is it possible that it could be made as some defined way of coloring these annotations?
Yes, the reasoning came up from domain expert, but we are pretty sure that the normal cilia are green, and the others are pretty much random, I think. Yes.
Okay,
She likes this fuchsia color, the last one, so yes, that's why she incorporated that one, but no idea about the others.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, in that case, there are no other questions from the audience. Martin, thank you very much for your presentation. Good luck in your PhD, and also good luck for every PhD that was presenting.
Thank you.
Swing to the beat where the pixels play. From rendering to VR, it's a pixel